I'm really excited today to be here at Maebrie's Memorial Mortuary with one of the owners, Justin Maebrie.
Yes.
Thank you so much for letting us come here today and talk about wrongful death from a legal perspective, but I'm also interested to hear about your experiences growing up in this business.
Okay. So we've been here since '97. That's when I was in middle school. So that's when we opened. And then I've actually been in the industry since 3 years now.
Okay.
But I've been involved, since I was a kid.
What was that like growing up, around so much death?
I think it just gives you a lot of empathy for the families, what they're going through, and just getting them through the entire process. And then as I've gotten older, I understand the details more.
Yeah. When people call you guys, oftentimes, is it right away after someone's passed away? Are you the first phone call, or how does that process usually happen?
Typically, we are the first phone call. If they know the person is passing away, then they'll call, a few days or months earlier. But we're typically the first person that they call.
And then how long does it take usually for a funeral or a cremation or something to happen?
Usually the planning is about a week, sometimes 2 weeks, depending on, how tragic it might be. Many times when it's so sudden, the family's not prepared, whether that's monetarily, emotionally, and it's just a lot to really gather.
Especially if it's, like when you mention a tragic death, is there often times that it might even be a wrongful death, such as a horrible car accident or an accident, not like an overdose, but something where it wasn't the victim's fault?
Definitely, and those are more emotional.
Yeah.
And especially when it's not their fault and they know that somebody else has contributed towards their death. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times the money is an issue because they haven't planned for it. Exactly. Especially if they're young. Now, one of the benefits when it is like a wrongful death or it's an accident is the state has a program, the victims of crime, and a lot of times they will award money, but that only covers for the funeral.
And
but
it has
definitely,
to be a crime.
It has to be a crime.
Not like a civil action.
No.
You mean like if someone was shot or a criminal? How is it?
But I was going to say that their funds, they take care of the funeral costs.
Okay.
But many times there's a lot of cost outside of the funeral home, with just life.
Yeah.
They were depending on that person's income.
So when it is a wrongful death case, as you mentioned, how is that process like working with lawyers?
Many times we don't have direct contact with the lawyers. A lot of times they want to know the exact cause, what's on the death certificate, how soon will we get the death certificate. But as far as the interaction with the lawyer throughout that process, we don't have that much.
Do you wish sometimes that you would have more of an interaction, or it's not a big deal to you?
In general, whatever brings comfort to the family. So if it's helpful, any information that we can provide, then definitely. But we don't really have so much of a role in that process.
Do you feel like here, do you guys do a lot of cremations or burials, or is it all different kinds of things?
It's truly a mix. More people are starting to do more cremations, whether they see it as more practical or monetarily it is less expensive. But even with a cremation, there's so many different aspects into how you can celebrate their life, even though the final disposition is a cremation.